Welcome to Spinsterhood. My name's Jill and I'll be your guide. And today we're doing something a little bit different. I thought, we've covered dating. So let's cover something else this week, shall we? And this week I thought I would go over how to refinish wood furniture. I know, right? What a departure. But living on your own, or even if you're not living on your own, this is one of those things that you can do that will increase your confidence because it's actually really easy and almost impossible to mess up. And it doesn't cost a lot of money. So if you're looking for a DIY project and you have some wood pieces, since I bought my house, I have refinished hardwood floors, a bathroom vanity that was like an old dresser that got converted into a bathroom vanity. So I've refinished that, and I've also refinished a whole staircase. And I, learned as I went. So I thought today I would show you how easy and simple it is and really how great stuff can look once it's all done. So the piece that I'm going to be refinishing is this bookshelf right here. Can you see it? I've baby gated. That's the other thing. Before you start any project, if you have children or pets, make sure that you barricade yourself from them because they'll ruin it. They will. Just by being them. They're adorable and lovable and we love them to death, but they ruin it. So, barricade, baby gate. The first step to any refinishing process is to sand the piece that you're working on. One of the reasons that I love refinishing wood is that it's really hard to mess up. Unless you're making cuts to the wood, it's almost impossible to mess up because let's say you do mess up. Guess what you do? Just re-sand it. Just sand it back down and start over. I mean, I know that's a pain and more time consuming, but it's not ruined. That's pretty awesome. Obviously, if you have a raw wood piece and it's already smooth, you don't have to really necessarily worry about that. But if you're starting with, like me, a raw piece of wood, you need to sand it so that it's nice and smooth and that you're able to work with it. If you're working on a piece that already has a finish, like my wood floors, right? They had some sort of polyurethane coating on them years and years ago, and a lot of that had worn off, but there was still some on there. So if you're looking at a piece of furniture, let's say, and it looks a little shiny, then it still has whatever they put on it, lacquer, shellac, polyurethane. They put some sort of coating on there to seal it, and that's still on there. You have to remove that before you stain or before you reseal it, because otherwise the sealant won't get soaked in and it'll just end up sticky, or if you're restaining, the stain won't get soaked in and it'll just be a mess. After you sand, you want to wipe the whole piece down with a damp rag just to pick up any remaining bits of sawdust that were left behind, which there will be. So make sure that you wipe it down with a damp rag and let it fully dry before we get to the next step of staining. Now we're at my favorite step, which is staining. How fun. I mean, look at how dramatic that is. Ugh, it's my favorite part of the process. You can go one of two routes when it comes to staining. You can use a commercial stainer like Minwax, where you go to the store, you're able to pick out the color that you're trying to match, or the color that you want the piece to be, right? If it's something completely different. Like with this piece, if you had a very specific color you wanted this to be, that would be the route to go. However, if you're looking for something that's a little bit more natural, or something that will make your wood actually look weathered or aged, almost like that reclaimed wood appearance, you can go the route that I went with this. So you want to go to the store and you want to pick up a pack of steel wool. You want to make sure that you're getting grade 0000. It's the lowest grade that you can buy, meaning it's the finest the wool fibers are. So buy that, take a piece out, rip it in half, throw it in a glass jar, mason jar or ball jar. I have ball jars. So you throw it in there and then cover it with vinegar, white vinegar. I have seen some things online where people used apple cider vinegar. Maybe that works, but I used white vinegar. And then you want to put the lid on, but you want to leave it open just a little bit because gas bubbles will form and they need a place to go. So they will be releasing. Now, the lowest amount of time, or the minimum amount of time to leave that sit is 24 hours. You can leave it up to a week. And then after that, if you take the steel wool out, I've read that some people leave this for a year and it's fine. If you want to dilute it because the color's too strong, you just add more vinegar. It's really easy. So I have 2 jars here because I also read somewhere that you can boil it to get a more silvery appearance. This is the one that was not boiled. This is the one that was boiled. Now that the shelf is all stained, as you can see, it is time to seal it. Now, I will say that I did do the entire thing in the stain that I talked about, the steel wool and the vinegar. However, when it was all dry and said and done, I didn't really like the color brown in terms of how it went with everything else in my room. It worked really well, but it just didn't work with what I have in this room. So I decided to go over that stain with one that I already had in the house, which is a Minwax stain in the color Ebony. So doubled my work, but you know, that's how these projects happen sometimes. You do the thing and then you realize, it doesn't quite work. There's always a way, like I said, to fix it. In this case, I just restained it with smelly Minwax. So thank goodness it's a nice day and I could open all my windows. But it's now ready to be sealed. And to do that, I'm going to actually be using linseed oil. This is boiled linseed oil. You can get regular linseed oil, but from what I read, that takes far longer to dry. And so I don't have that kind of time, so I'm going to use this. Just got done wiping down the bookshelf, so now I just got to wait about 5 to 7 days for it to completely dry. Apparently the natural oils like tung oil or linseed oil or boiled linseed oil, all of them take a little bit longer to dry than would like a polyurethane or a shellac. So gotta wait a little bit of time before I put my books back on the shelf, but that's okay. I don't really read them. I just use them to make myself look intelligent. I hope that this whole process though has shown you how easy it is to do something like this. And it's also really cost effective. I did my whole staircase for under 50 bucks. So you can save a lot of money. And if you're willing to put in the elbow grease and patience and, you know, be willing to adjust your plans if necessary, like I had to with this piece, at the end of the day, you will have a piece that you can be really proud of and this amazing feeling of accomplishment. So till next time, you stay confident. And if you decide to do a project like this, please let me know. I'd love to see photos of what you're working on. So I'll see you next time on Spinsterhood. Can you see Artemis in the background? You can't come in. I'm busy doing important stuff.